someone who's definitely not old, Kobbie Mainoo. I mean, sometimes we can go a little bit early in praise for a young player, but my goodness me, he is some player, isn't he?
And Mainoo! Oh, beautiful!
The Premier League has faced press resistance machines, possession kings, and tactical systems designed to suffocate creativity. But it still hasn't solved Kobbie Mainoo.
Kobbie can play different roles within that, but definitely with Cassie in the middle, the last couple of games they've had a really good pairing and being a big part of controlling as the team. So he's so young, Kobbie, you know, and he's a joy to watch.
At just 20, he's already dictated games that most midfielders never get near. A Wembley final against Manchester City, a stoppage-time winner at Wolves, goals against Liverpool, control in derbies, composure under European pressure. And yet, somehow, he spent the last year drifting between roles, minutes, and definitions.
I never liked the handling of Mainoo. I think we talked about that a lot on this show. I never liked the handling of that. When he said at the start of the season, Ruben, that basically it was him or Bruno, I never agreed with that. I thought it killed him. It killed him, to be fair, publicly.
Even this season, the contradiction remains. 498 league minutes, 12 substitute appearances, and still the efficiency refuses to fade. 88% pass accuracy, 0.33 expected assists, 31 duels won, 13 tackles, no cards, no panic, no drop-off. Then, the environment changed. A coach who understands midfield football arrived. A structure built on control, spacing, and repetition returned. And suddenly, Mainoo wasn't a question to manage, he was a solution to trust. The result? A dominant derby win over Manchester City, a statement victory away at Arsenal, and a chaos test comeback against Fulham. 3 different game states, 1 constant in the middle. This isn't about potential anymore. It's about alignment. Because when Kobbie Mainoo is placed in the right structure, Manchester United don't just improve, they become controllable, repeatable, and dangerous. This is why those big moments were never accidents, how Michael Carrick is turning Mainoo into the midfield reference point, and why this partnership could quietly shape Manchester United's next decade. Kobbie Mainoo's rise at Manchester United wasn't driven by hype or highlight reels. Inside the club, the language was quieter and more telling. Coaches kept coming back to the same traits: comfortable, secure, calm under pressure. Not flashy comfort, but the kind that matters in midfield. Short, controlled touches. Early scanning before the ball arrives. An unusual ease receiving, with his back to goal, then turning pressure into progress. That profile shifted him from academy prospect to a constant selection debate. His first real examination came away at Everton in November 2023. It was his first Premier League start, in a hostile environment where young midfielders are usually exposed. Instead of hiding, Mainoo passed the hardest test: survival. A crucial goal line clearance, highlighted in the club's own match report, summed it up. Analysts praised his bravery and composure. No panic, no shrinking, just competence under stress. Days later, he was thrown into a Champions League night away at Galatasaray, replacing Sofyan Amrabat in the second half. Istanbul away is tactical chaos by design. Noise, momentum swings, emotional pressure. The fact he was trusted there mattered. It wasn't about output. It was about exposure to elite stress. And he held his ground. The moment everything changed came away at Wolves on February 1st, 2024. United were protecting a lead, then collapsed late. In stoppage time, when legs go and decisions unravel, Mainoo produced the winning moment, a 97th minute goal in a 4-3 thriller, later voted Premier League Goal of the Month for February 2024. At that point, he stopped being a useful option. He became someone you build around. That status was reinforced in April 2024 against Liverpool at Old Trafford. United were chasing the game. Mainoo scored in a 2-2 draw, part of a second-half comeback. Pundits described the finish as a clean, curled strike, not a scrappy moment, but pure technique. Big opponent, big stage, real quality. Then came the defining night, the 2024 FA Cup final against Manchester City at Wembley. United won 2-1. Mainoo was voted Manchester United's man of the match and also named the official man of the match. A teenage midfielder dominating a derby final at Wembley doesn't return to being a rotation project. That's a strategic asset. And yet, confusion followed. Under Ruben Amorim, United's structure shifted. Reports pointed to a breakdown in confidence and a refusal to adapt within the project. Mainoo became a tactical casualty, shifted across roles, used in patches, never given rhythm. The free Kobbie Mainoo narrative wasn't emotional fan noise. It was a football argument. His game thrives on receiving, turning, and connecting, not survival defending. The numbers back that up. Even as his platform shrank, the efficiency remained. In 318 league minutes, he He completed 194 passes at 89% accuracy, completed 10 dribbles at 60%, and contributed defensively. The form didn't disappear, the minutes did. Then came Michael Carrick. His appointment was confirmed, and in his very first match, a 2-0 derby win over Manchester City, Mainoo made his first league start under him. Coverage described it as a dominant performance. For a coach defined by midfield intelligence, the message was clear. Mainoo wasn't a risk to manage. He was a solution to trust. That's where this story truly turns. Michael Carrick's midfield philosophy starts with a simple correction. Control is not possession volume. It's security before expression, protection before risk, clear spacing and reference points that allow midfielders to play forward without fearing collapse behind them. That principle alone explains why Kobbie Mainoo looks different under Carrick and why his game finally makes sense again. The significance isn't nostalgia, it's clarity. The structure immediately resolves Mainoo's positional ambiguity. Carrick simplifies the picture. In the double pivot, one midfielder anchors. The other connects. Mainoo is neither a static number 6 nor a high-risk number 10. He operates just beyond the first press, where the game accelerates or slows on his touch. Carrick has been explicit. Mainoo needs freedom. The evidence supports it. In limited minutes earlier in the season, Mainoo produced 194 passes at 89% accuracy, 10 completed dribbles at 60%, and 23 duels won. These aren't passive metrics. They describe a midfielder advancing play under pressure, not hiding from it. That balance showed immediately in the derby win over Manchester City, where Mainoo partnered Casemiro. Mainoo took responsibility in the middle third, allowing Bruno Fernandes to stay higher and more dangerous. The midfield stopped surviving. It started functioning. The structural ripple effects are everywhere. Amad Diallo now receives the ball earlier and facing defenders. Bryan Mbeumo benefits from sharper diagonal access into the half spaces, with wider timing windows. Patrick Dorgu profits from Mainoo's patience, delayed progression that manipulates channels rather than forcing overlaps. The outcome is consistent: higher reception zones, fewer turnovers. At fullback, Noussair Mazraoui advances with less risk. Mainoo's dual-winning credibility makes him the first reset, not the emergency defender, reducing transition chaos. Front, the synergy is deliberate. Joshua Zirkzee's link play thrives on Mainoo's timing. Benjamin Sesko benefits from cleaner vertical service and second-phase recycling. Matheus Cunha's diagonal drifting opens lanes that Mainoo attacks or feeds. The common thread isn't goals, it's touch quality. Out of possession, Carrick's press is conditional, not frantic. Mainoo steps in on clear triggers: poor body shape, backward touches, sideline traps. His discipline shows in the data: 46 tackles and 19 interceptions in 2024-25, without reckless fouling. Compactness is preserved. The biggest shift, though, is psychological. Mainoo is no longer being fitted in. He's being planned around. Repetition replaces improvisation. That's how Carrick built his own career, and why Wolves, Liverpool, and the FA Cup final now look less like isolated peaks and more like previews. Under this structure, Mainoo doesn't just look comfortable, he looks inevitable. If Carrick's structure stays, and Mainoo stays fit, this isn't just a good young player story. It's a role being modernized in real time. Because press-resistant midfielders don't just help you keep the ball, they change where your team can live on the pitch. They turn first pressure into second-phase attacks. They make your possession safer and more aggressive because you're not playing through fear anymore. You're playing through solutions. That's what Mainoo is trending toward for Manchester United. A midfielder who can receive under pressure, roll the contact, dribble through the first trap, and still find the next pass. Calm enough to slow games down, brave enough to speed them up. If you want the cleanest comparison, it's not about copying anyone's career. It's about type. The way Pedri manipulates pressure with angles and tempo. The way Vitinha keeps progression alive even when the press arrives early. And stylistically, there are flashes of a young Patrick Vieira. Not because Mainoo is the same player, but because he has that same calm authority when contact comes and space disappears. And that's the point. When a midfielder can't be pressed, the entire team becomes harder to play against. If Mainoo stays healthy, and Carrick keeps giving him repetition in the connector role, United don't just gain a talent, they gain a reference point. The kind that raises the floor every week, travels to big away grounds, and quietly revolutionizes a position that decides modern games. The midfielder who turns pressure into control.